Hey guys, Sparks back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. I've waited to give my opinion on all the controversy for a while, but I think it's time to finally respond. I'm still enjoying the game, and I hope that if the developers are watching, they take this as constructive feedback rather than just complaining. But before we dive in, please subscribe. I did a poll last week with over 200 responses, and a tiny 18% of you said that you were subscribed. So please, if you watch my videos, subscribe. It'll help me a ton and it doesn't cost anything. I'd really appreciate it. I also want to hear your thoughts and opinions. The voice of the player base is important, and I think particularly so for this video here. Okay, so of course I'm talking about censorship. I'm going to briefly go over what's actually happened, what the rumors are, and my own feelings about it, both good and bad, and what I think will happen in the future because of all of this. This controversy started way back shortly after the game officially launched, and it really reached a boiling point with the release of Christmas Rupee. You can see some pretty significant changes to her, both in the outfit and in her positioning. We've also seen data mine changes in other characters like this, and in Isabel, although I don't have an example of her to show you, but she went from a very narrow cut leotard bottom to one that covers her booty a lot more. And now the most recent thing everyone is raging about is Modernia. For some reason, this insanely low res image is the only one anyone has, but this was a post that was supposedly made on the Facebook group, and I've scoured the internet, but this is the only one I could find. To be honest, I feel like this isn't much of a difference. Her top looks a little more like armor, and it's more of a push-up style. For this one specifically, I kind of like it, but since Modernia is everyone's waifu that they're simping for, they're going to be mad about anyone touching her. It's also kind of silly because she's already in the game with the so-called uncensored design. Like, you can play the campaign right now, and she has the outfit on the left. So it's kind of strange that they would change her as a playable unit. It makes me question if it's real or not. And I'll get more into suspicious stuff about whether things are real or not later on too. The age rating has also changed a couple weeks after the game's release, which felt like a stamp of doom, to be honest. I was personally probably the most upset or wary of things when I saw that the age rating officially changed. Previously it was 16 plus and now it's 12 plus. It's interesting because the criteria to get a 16 plus states that sexual activity must be the same as would be expected in real life. I'm not even sure what to say about that, but none of this looks like real life, and visually we just see hot girls standing around. There's no quote-unquote sexual activity. Now, on the other hand, this feels like wildly inconsistent rating because in verbal interactions or things described in text to you, you have stuff that is definitely not appropriate for the 12 plus rating. We as the player literally tell Folkwang to take her clothes off. And then you have Rapunzel, literally anytime she talks to you. Yeah. And there are many more examples of sexual situations with characters that don't seem to line up with, supposedly going for a more, wholesome, acceptable design or something that would be appropriate for younger kids. As well as visual designs like the new Chrisma Emma costume, or Folkwang again, literally falling out of her shirt. So I don't know how they're deciding what is okay and not okay. It's interesting, to put it mildly. Anyway, personally, I don't like, what I don't like about the censorship changes is that you can tell they changed it. And what I mean is that it looks like a fix, like they've just sort of put a band-aid on something. If they designed a character in a way that would meet the rating standards from the beginning, they could still look good. But going back to Christmas Rupee here, the skirt just looks awkward. Like no one would have a skirt like that. So you need to stick to what you planned to originally, or it's going to be lame. Like the leg positioning is awkward too. You can't make partial changes after the fact and expect a good result. Now, One of the perspectives I don't agree with about this whole controversy is sort of the moral crusade against censorship. Some people will say stuff like, I don't support censorship ever, like they're fighting for people's rights or something. No, you're just horny and you're mad that you're not getting your anime titties. So whether you agree with it or not about the age-appropriate content for the desired customer, it's about that, not rights for free speech. So that always kind of makes me laugh a little. We all want our jiggle physics and hot girls. Nobody started playing this because they don't like girls. And now I know there's going to be someone in the comments like, well, actually, I started playing because of the unique combat system and the... No, shut up. You don't exist. Anyway, the other thing that I don't really think makes sense about the changes to the character designs is that it just alienates part of your customer base. Like, why would you change something that was originally a big part of your brand? It doesn't make sense. You wanted to make a game that had... If you wanted to make a game that had mass appeal for all ages or cultures, you should have just started there. Like, imagine if next year Ferrari suddenly said, we're no longer making supercars, we're only going to make minivans. Nobody asked for that. You know, people that want minivans are buying from Toyota or Chevy. People go to Ferrari because they want to buy sports cars. Now, the big thing I haven't mentioned yet is that Shift Up is Nikke's developer, a Korean company, and it's rumored that they sold everything to Tencent, a giant Chinese company that publishes games through the brand Level Infinite. Now, the CEO of Shift Up has made a statement that this is not true. He says they still own and run the game, and I want to believe this, but it could also be that he can't say certain things because of a contract with Tencent. I won't speculate on this further, and we'll just have to take Shift Up at its word. Either way, it seems the game is being changed to be more appropriate for the CN market, where things are much more tightly controlled and conservative. The player base has been wilding out over there, and they're definitely not happy, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops. I need a water break. So, the game's biggest market, at least in terms of money spent, has been Japan, which is way more liberal with their media, even compared to the US, and Korea is pretty similar in standards to Japan as well. To give you an idea, this is Shift Up's other big game, Destiny Child. By the way, let me know if you want me to do any videos on this. I kind of plan to eventually, but I want to focus mostly on Nikke right now, but let me know if you're interested. They self-published this, and you can see the character designs are nothing but thirst traps. The thing is, they made multiple versions of this game to sell in different markets. This is the Korean version. The global version that we got in the US has modified designs, similar to what we're seeing in Nikke right now. Shift Up has also supposedly said in the past that they would not do that to Nikke. But here we are, so I don't know. I actually haven't read anything official on that, it's just a rumor as far as I know. Let me know if you can send me to a source where they have specifically said this. So maybe this was the plan from a long time ago, I don't know. The other thing is that until recently, there has been basically no communication about all the censorship from Shift Up, which even if it's not true that they gave people even more reason, it gave people even more reason to think that because Tencent was controlling everything, that they weren't communicating with the people. So I think that Shift Up needs to clear this up. In contrast, Shift Up is much more engaged with the player base about Destiny Child. So developers, please, if you can, you should lay our fears to rest, talk to us, and let us know what's really going on, and then follow through on it. At this point, people have spent a lot of money on the game. I heard their revenue was about $70 million in the first month from Nikke, and people continue to drop fat stacks on this Christmas event. So far you could say there's no reason to change anything, but also think about the investment people have made in it, and it would behoove the developers to be more open with the people making that investment. We're just excited about the game, and we want to look forward to good stuff in the future. Now, speaking of the future, let's talk about how I can see things going in the future. I think there are basically three possible scenarios here. The rumors about having been sold to Tencent are true, and Tencent uses the remaining content made by ShiftUp, and it would be released over the next 1, 2, or 3 years, and it just dies after that. That's the first option. I hope this isn't the case. Number 2, ShiftUp breaks away from Tencent later because they aren't happy with how things are being run, and they put out a new version of the game that you can download. This actually happened with Destiny Child. Global players could download a version later on that wasn't in the standard app store, and it visually was the same as the Korean version that I showed you earlier. The third option, ShiftUp really does have control and just keeps going on the way that it is right now because that's how they wanted to for whatever reason. Only time will tell. Let me know which option you think is the most likely, or if there's something different that you see happening that I haven't thought of here. Now, for now, I'm still having fun. I hope that improvements will be made and they listen to their customers. This has been a huge global launch, and I want to recognize the challenges they're facing and commend them for all the bug fixes that they've made, as well as just a really high quality Christmas event that we're enjoying right now. So it's not all bad. Please let me know your thoughts on this. I love discussing things with you guys in the comments, and this in particular I think is important to make your voice heard. Don't forget to subscribe. Your boy is starving. Link in my Discord and Union down below, blah, blah, blah. I'm out.